Minecraft Hardcore, the hardest level of Minecraft that the game provides. If you die once, it is all over and you lose everything including your world. 100 days of Minecraft consists of 20 minutes in real life time per day in-game, making this challenge consist of over 33 hours. This video took a long time to make, so please sub. As I attempt to survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore, I have 4 main goals. Kill the Ender Dragon, collect an Elytra, get full netherite armor and tools, and finally, kill the Wither in order to make a beacon. Will I be able to survive 100 days and reach my goal? Let's find out. Day 0. I got some wood, and I also made a generic crafting table. I made some sticks in order to make my first pickaxe, as well as an axe. I saw some trees on fire, and found a lava pit where I mined my first cobblestone to upgrade to a cobblestone pickaxe. I threw my wooden one away, and I got a few more cobblestone. I found some sheep and killed them to make a bed, which I probably would never use. Then I went and found some flint on my first try, obviously, because I'm that guy. Still my first try. I found a school fish, and they went out of school. I got some pumpkins for future farms, and then crafted up a furnace where I could cook the food I just got. I made a axe and threw out my last wooden axe of the season. I jumped off a sketchy cliff, which I almost died. Made a boat and went on my journey. I found a ruined portal, and I ransacked it. Took everything, put everything on, and I took everything. My first foe, zombies. I destroyed them with ease. Light work, as some could say. Went on my journey, found more biomes for future projects and future builds. And I found another ruined portal, and I ransacked it. Day 1. I started chopping some wood, and I saw a witch hut. I went in the witch hut and realized that I was stupid and couldn't find anything. I got some sugarcane, some sand, and then I also got some birch saplings that I would need in the future. Got some jungle wood, and then also some bamboo and melons for future farms as well. I jumped over a cliff and found my first piece of iron. Man, was I excited. I found some golden carrots. Was even more excited there. I love food. I found a gold block, and in order to mine the gold block, I needed some iron. So I went up the hill and found some tons of iron and coal. I made my first iron pickaxe, and I got the gold block and the other gold block on top. I was very lucky. Found my first village, ransacked it, got all the hay, all the goods, and even stole all the seeds and stuff. Day 2, I saw an iron golem killing a enderman, and I didn't want to get into that way. I found a goated chest, and I got my first suit up. I went on my merry way, and I found another ruined portal. Can you believe it? And I broke a gold block, and it went in lava. So I kept adventuring, and I found a nice forest. I found a village. Man, was I excited. This one had a little baby in it, so I trapped him. The other one had another one, so I trapped him as well. I decided to go into this house and make it my own, because it had a purple bed. I was sorting my chests, and I got a roommate. I decided to get some torches and light up the night that night. That's what I spent the night doing, as well as helping out the pass. I strolled into this house, and I found a ton of villagers just chilling, so I locked them in and finished pass. Day 3. I started getting stuff from my iron farm in the future, which I really need. But I didn't have all the material yet, so I went and did something else. I got some wood, and I started working on my mine, because I would need cobblestone for the iron farm in the future as well. Most of the day was spent working on this to perfection, because I wanted it to look very, very, very nice. Put my signature chest, and it was done. I did a little bit of mining down, but not much at all. Put some sugarcane down, and then some sweet berries. I got some extra wood, and I used my shield for once, and I got to know today, thank you. Day 4 was a nice and simple day. I just did a lot of wood chopping, and I started on my sheep and cow farm. I wanted it to look pretty nice because I would have a ton of sheep and cow, because I need them for trading and such other stuff. I started on my farms because I needed food, and I needed food fast. So I made sure to get them done pretty much quick. But not really, because it took me more than one day, which is not the best, but at least it was a start. I got basically 1.5 done, though. That's pretty good, right? I think so. Day 5 was spent finishing the farms that I did not finish the day before. I put all the carrots I had down, and then I put the seeds there. And I terrained a little bit. With my next farm done, I put the potatoes I had down, and then I finished up my third and final one. I put the seeds down to market, and it was done. I put up the fences for my sheep and cow farm, and the day was over. Day 6, I started working on a well, and I get it. Why do you need a well? There's a lake around you. It's for design, people. It's okay. And it looks pretty nice. So then I started working on a shack where I could have some farms as well underneath. And I got swarmed at night. Tons of fanciers were after me. And after a little while of dealing with them and not being able to kill any of them, I decided to go to sleep for once. Day 7 and 9, I woke up and ate my sweet berries. I got back to work on the shack and I got it done. I think it looks pretty nice. After that, I tended my crops, replanted my carrots, and then went to the mines. I dug down for a little bit, and then I found a cave. I got a ton of coal and iron to get me started in this world. And then I found a lush cave, and then I had also lapis and a mine shaft. I cooked up my iron and got as many rails as I possibly could, as well as any gold I found. I found a chest that had a Smite 3 book, and I chucked it away. I didn't want that. I found diamonds. I was so excited. Diamonds are going to be so important in this, especially because it's hardcore, and you need diamonds very badly. 5 feet later, I found more diamonds. And then, like, 4 more feet later, I found even more diamonds. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. I found a double cave spider spawner, and I kept my composure here. Obviously, I was very composed. I was not worried at all. I was not scared. I was not crying myself to sleep because I was about to die. I boxed myself in, and a homie skeleton decided to hop in and just get killed. I went back up to the surface, and I made myself full iron tools and chucked away my old stone ones, and I officially entered the Iron Age. I decided to get some more sheep, and I breaded them, closed their gates, and they were trapped forever. Day 10 was a nice and simple day. I got the wool from my sheep, and then went on my merry way to find some cows. Eventually, I found them after a very long time, and I brought them all the way back to my farm area, breaded them, closed their gates, put some more decorations on my farms, and then started making a sugarcane farm. Day 11 was also a nice and simple day. I bred the cows and sheep, and I went back down to where the sugarcane was, and I opened up a new area for sweet berries. And then I added some bamboo in the back behind the sugarcane. And I also killed my first phantom. Day 12 to 13 was all about the iron farm. I got materials for it and then realized I needed lava, so I got hot stuff. I went back up to the surface and found a nice little area where I wanted to make my iron farm underneath the ground. I opened up an area for it, put the beds for the villagers, and then I made an area for where the zombie would eventually be. I closed off the villager area, got some minecarts, and started to make a path to where all the villagers were. I went to the place I found prior in this video with all those new villagers. I got the first and second one, and they willingly went into the hole by themselves, no help. And they had a slumber party. And then I realized I needed a third one, so I had to do it all over again for a third one. And he joined the slumber party with no effort needed. Days 14 and 19 were spent on the farmhouse to surround the iron farm because I didn't want it to look ugly in the middle of nowhere. And I also wanted to move in and move out of my bunkmate's house. I got a leather cap and went to get a zombie for the iron farm, and none of them were picking up anything, so I decided to lock one in, and hopefully he'll pick up the leather cap that I gave him. I went back to working on the farmhouse to get it mostly done while I waited for the zombie to pick up the leather cap. And hopefully he would. So I went back to check on him, and he didn't. So I decided to take out my sword and just get rid of him. I went back in the forest and found a zombie that would actually pick something up for once, and he only had one place to go, and that was through the hole, and that's where he went. I trapped him inside, and he was there forever and never to be seen again. I worked on the chamber for where the iron golems would flow, and I also went on and worked on the death chamber. I made it so no iron golems could spawn anywhere else, and it was finally working. We had an iron golem farm. I went back to working on the farmhouse to finish it up, and it was looking pretty nice. I did the final touches, and I've had a friend that wanted to show up and give me something. I looked at his llamas, I looked back at him, and they just vanished. I don't know where they went. I was very confused, but I went back to work on the farmhouse anyways. I got most of it done, and it was looking pretty good, as I would say. It was just a farmhouse, so I didn't want it to look too good looking, as it would be out of place as a farmhouse, and no farmhouse really is stunning. I got most of it done, kept working on it, day in and day out. I wanted this to be done, so I finally got my purple bed, moved it, and set my bed, set my spawn, and it was looking really nice. I had everything going, and the house was coming together. It was looking like a true farmhouse. I was very happy. I made sure to move all my belongings, and I moved back into the house. I went to check on the iron golem farm, and it was working really well. I finished up decorations, and the house was complete, so I started on a villager trading hall that I would use a lot in the next coming days. I made a place for the zombie to come back and forth to make the traders give me a little bit of discounts, but hopefully they will give me a lot, but I don't know. We'll see. I finished working on that, and that was the day. Day 20 was spent finishing up the villager trading hall, and then I started on a villager breeder. This villager breeder was very important, as I wouldn't have to go around and find villagers, make them have babies, and then transport their babies all the way to the villager trading hall. And then it was time to get the villagers. I made a pathway, and then I got swarmed by a ton of phantoms. I didn't want the villagers to die by the phantoms, so I went to bed. Days 21 to 25. I got the villagers into the village breeder. The second one was very annoying and didn't want to go, but eventually he did, and I put him in there. I started making a villager house in order to keep the villagers inside and safe outside from the scary world. I gave them some food, that way they could start making some babies, and this one didn't want to fall asleep yet, so I waited until it was done and then finished making the hole. I kept working on the house, and I got a lot done. I decided to take a little break and make a little wood farm up in the sky. And then I went back to working on the house for a little bit. I decided to get some extra wood because I needed it for the build. And then I decided to get some dark oak saplings, but then after a little while I realized I needed 4 and went for a very long ride to a dark oak sapling forest where I got a ton of saplings. And I went back home. On my way home though, I found some coarse dirt and I decided to get quite a plenty of it. Kept working for a very long time. It was coming together really nicely though, so I was not too disappointed that I was taking a little bit more than it should have. I wanted to feel rustic and a little bit miney area, and I think it was coming together really nicely. And then I finally had it finished. It looked really nice. I went back to the iron farm and there was a ton of new iron. And I got some diamonds, some obsidian, and then when did we get books? I think you guys know where this is going. I crafted up my first diamond pickaxe, and I crafted up an enchantment table. I was super happy. I wanted to get fully decked out in this 100 days, so this was very important to me. I made a sword and an anvil and also first bookshelf. That way I can start enchanting eventually. I opened up the gate and allowed 2 villagers to come in. I made my first Fletcher, traded with him, and then got another villager that I turned into a Fletcher. I got another villager that I turned into a shepherd, and then another one as well. I got some sheep wool, that way I could trade with the shepherds that I just got. I traded with the first one, and I put some nice chocolate bars in front of them so they could go nowhere. And I got some more wool, and then traded with the other one. I finally got a third Fletcher. Traded with him. And I got a third and final Shepherd that I traded with. And then I got some black dye and white dye to make some gray dye because I did not need any light gray sheep. So I decided to go and change the colors of the sheep. That way I can get the wool I needed for trading. I gave the food to the cows and attended my crops, and those were the days. Day 26, I gave more food to the villager breeders, and then I also traded with all my shepherds for all their worth. I got another villager in, and this one would be an armorer because I needed diamond armor. I need diamond armor as soon as possible. I also got a new farmer, and I also needed golden carrots soon as well. And for the rest of the night, I chopped the wood. Days 27 to 33 were spent in my villager trading hall. I traded a lot with my shepherds and my Fletchers. I got a new villager, and I turned this villager into a librarian that I did not decide to choose yet. And then I also made like a nice little seed area. That way I can get some good white dye and some bone meal as well. And then I started upgrading my toolsmith and armorer as much as possible because I needed diamond armor and diamond tools as quickly as possible in these 100 days. And that's what I did for quite a while. Continued doing that. After a while, I finally reached where I can get diamond pants and diamond boots. I threw away my iron armor and I put them on. And I got covering me with diamonds, and I was starting to get really stacked. And then I also got a helmet. I even got a new weaponsmith. Kept trading. I also got a new leather worker, but I changed them eventually later. And I got a new chest plate. And now I was fully kitted with diamond armor. And I went back to trading, and I got my first diamond pickaxe. And then I had to go get some sugarcane, which I turned into paper, which I turned into books, which I turned into a bookshelf. And I had to get some more, and I made more books. I got some more bookshelves. I went to go knock down some wood for trading and stuff, and I looked at my newly built village that was coming up from the ground. I went back to breaking wood for the rest of the night, made some bookshelves, more bookshelves, and then went back into the villager trading hall where I was going to upgrade a new toolsmith so I can get every single diamond tool. Then I traded more with the diamond toolsmith and some more with the weaponsmith, and I finally got a diamond hoe and a diamond axe. Then I kept trading with my weaponsmith, and I finally got a diamond sword, and now I was fully kitted with diamond tools and diamond armor. I was very happy at this point. I felt very succeeded. And then I traded with my farmer. That way I can get golden carrots soon, and I wouldn't have to worry about food ever again. And I finally got the carrots. Then I started working on my enchanting area. This was going to be inside where I could just trade with my villagers and then go and enchant. I started off by enchanting my first diamond pickaxe of the season, and I only got unbreaking, so I immediately disenchanted it. I tried enchanting again, and I only got efficiency 4, so I immediately disenchanted it again. And then I got a fortune and unbreaking, and then I disenchanted the one I already had, and I got an unbreaking, efficiency, and fortune, and I combined the two. And then I tried to get a mending villager. After a very long time, I finally got him. Added it immediately to my pickaxe, and I started chopping wood. I went wood chopping and cleared a lot of area for where my village was. And then I entrapped the zombie that had a block with him. That way I could use it later on in my villager trading hall. Day 34, I started, and it was time to enter the nether. So I built up my portal, and I was ready to enter the nether for once. I entered the nether, and I got a pretty good spawn. At least it wasn't in a bastion area. Those are horrible. So I gathered as much XP as I could, and any gold as well. And I found my first nether fortress. I was very happy, and I also got some mushrooms for making potions. And I entered the fortress and collected any diamonds I got. as well as killed my first blaze. I got more diamonds and some warts for potions as well. Then I farmed for a very long time, getting as much blaze rods as possible. I even found another fortress like 2 feet away. I also started trading with the gold I just got and went back home. When I went back home, I decided it was time to build up the nether portal. That way it wasn't ugly in the middle of nowhere and it was coming together. After a little over a day, I had it finished and it looked really nice. Then I made a new shield and retired my old one in my bedroom. Days 37 and 38 were spent doing filler episode stuff, you know, in like those animes you watch or something. And I upgraded my sword and I didn't like it. I also got some mending books and killed my first phantom with a bow. I got a new villagers that I made into farmers because I needed food. And I also made a chest with all the diamond armor and tools that I would be upgrading to perfection. I got a new silk touch villager. I'm very happy about that because I need silk touch on a lot of stuff for building. And I got a nice pickaxe for silk touch and I didn't like it. And I got a new villager as well. And he was just going to sit there for a little bit. And I got my first zombie in the villager trading hall. Days 39 to 41 were spent on making potions and getting my gapples, as well as preparing my villagers to get their discounts, because I needed to get as much discounts as possible so I can hurry up this process of upgrading my tools. I got my next zombie on the other side of the villager trading hall, and I worked on getting a Fletcher for arrows for my infinity bow in the future. And then I started getting the materials for the potions, as well as making the gapples, obviously. I went into the caves and I found quite a bit of diamonds. And I went into these caves in order to go back to that double spider spawner I saw before. And this is where I farmed a ton of spider eyes for a very, very long time, because they spawned only once in a while. I made my spider eye formulas. I got an efficiency 4 villager, which I immediately traded with. And I kept working on these potions. And I became a local brewer. Days 42 to 46 were actually spent getting the discounts. I made some gapples and then got my first villager ready for it to be discounted. And this one would be my efficiency 4 because I needed a lot of those books. And while I was getting these boys ready, I got a zombie doctor. I did a ton of potions of weaknesses and gapples on these villagers. They were very struggly. They didn't want to go to one, say, stick or something like that. They were just really annoying. And I went back to the nether quite a few times, got gold, and came back. And that would be a repetition throughout these days. And I kept feeding them gapples and healing them because I was such a good guy, I know. And I finally got a good efficiency 4. Upgraded up my sword and immediately did not like it. And then I kept the process going. Gapples, curing, all that. Back to the nether. Gold. Back home. Gapple. Heal. Try and upgrade. Did not like. And I got a pretty good mending status and bought quite a bit of books. I also got an infinity villager, which I kept, and I got a pretty decent upgrade on my pickaxe, which I added silk touch to and mending. And I also made my one pickaxe efficiency 5 and my other one as well. And I was stacked out with goated pickaxes. And then I bought an infinity book and some more efficiency book. Days 47 to 48, I started off by working on my crops and then went straight to the nether. I got to level 30 by mining a ton of quartz and then went back home where I upgraded my axe. I got a pretty good enchantment and I was happy with it. But then I traded back up and got to level 30 again. I got my spoon and then I upgraded this. But I was not happy with what it was, so I disenchanted it right away. It started lightning at night, and I saw fire, and I didn't want anybody to get in trouble or hurt, so I went to sleep. Days 49 to 50, we are finally making the halfway point of the 100 days. But I still needed to do as much work as possible for these armor and tools that I needed to survive. So I kept working. I got a librarian, and I went back up to level 30, where I finally got a good enchantment for my spoon. I went back to the nether. Got back up to level 30 by mining a ton of new quartz, and went back home, where I then got my scythe, or hoe, whatever, and got a pretty good enchantment on that as well. Days 51 to 59 were spent in my villager trading hall preparing to go to the end. I got quite a bit of new villagers and started upgrading my armor. Whilst I'm down here, I want to ask you guys if you guys have any suggestions for names for any villagers. If you guys have any villager names, let me know in the comments, and I'll choose any villager names I think are cool, and I'll name them in the villager trading hall. Or I'll also name the villager that is next to my mine, if you guys want to. Just let me know if you guys have any names. So I spent a lot of time upgrading my armor, and I also got a nice respiration, which caught me off guard. And then I started upgrading my bow, that way I can have an overpowered bow in the end. I also started crafting up slow falling potions for the end as well. And then I started working on my sword as well, and I got a decent enchant. I put all my enchants and armor and all that jazz in a chest, so when I came back from the end with all the XP, I could upgrade everything. And then I went trading for some ender pearls, that way I can go to the end. And after having quite a bit, I made myself an ender chest. That way I can put all the goodies I get in the end in that box to save some space. I also put all my potions of slow falling in there as well. And I had all the blocks ready to go end busting. And then I finally was able to finish up my overpowered bow. Put infinity on it, and then I went to practice on this villager right here. I'm just kidding, I wouldn't do that. I crafted up some more eyes of ender. And got prepared to go to the end. Day 60, I sent out my first ender pearl, and I was finally on my way to go into the end. I was on my way to the stronghold. It took me a very long time into the night, and I kept moving. I finally found a village, and normally they come in your villages, so I took all the hay I possibly could, and accidentally set my spawn, because I wanted to sleep, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to wake up at my normal house. So then I dug down, and I finally reached the stronghold. I ventured, and I finally found the portal. And the bookstore was even next to it. Day 61, I crafted up a portal, that way I can come here through the nether to make it quicker. And then I also gathered a ton of books. And I finally made my eyes ender. And it was time to enter the end. I did it. I beat the Ender Dragon. And I officially beat Minecraft. I grabbed the dragon egg. And I officially was the victor. I went and was on my way to go get an elytra. And that's what I did for the rest of the day. Days 62 to 63 were spent end busting. These things were the most annoying things in the world, and I finally reached my first end city. These chests were horrible, but I took the gold and I took the iron anyways. And then I kept venturing on, and I finally found my first elytra. I killed the shulker, and I grabbed my first elytra of the season. I was so excited, and I felt so accomplished in these 100 days, and I wasn't even done yet. Gathered the goods from there, and I went to another one. I grabbed the goods from the inside and almost forgot the elytra. I was kind of stupid for that. And I packed everything in a box and kept on moving. And I decided it was time to leave and go back home, because I felt like I was on top of the world. And I officially beat the game. It was over. I won. And then I spawned at this village. So I flew back home. I found some different types of villages. And there's one even in the distance. It was crazy. They're so close to each other. I crafted up an item frame, and I retired my first elytra, and I placed the dragon egg. Day 64 was spent doing, you know what, trading. I got some more villagers, and I got an unbreaking villager, very important, and a looting villager. I crafted up the most OP sword you could ever get in Minecraft, and I was very ecstatic. I then decided it was time to craft up my perfect elytra. I had mending and unbreaking, and I had a perfect elytra. Days 65 to 71 were spent in my favorite place in the world, the Nether. It's a joke, guys. Sarcasm. So I went and got some XP and got some more levels. That way I can enchant some more. But then I ran into my Nether fortress and decided it was time to change it up. But I still got some more XP and also found my first Cinnabon. Can you believe it? I love Cinnabons. I told you before I love food. It's my favorite type of food. And then I decided it was time to go get some Wither Skulls. I spent the rest of these days scavenging, finding as much skeletons as I possibly could. These Wither Skeletons barely spawned. I went back to my old one after venturing the new one, and I found my first Wither Skull. I was extremely happy. It took me so long to get that. So then I went back to the other one, and I kept killing and killing and killing until I found the second one. I killed so many. So many. So many Wither Skeletons. I thought I was losing hope. And then I finally found the third one. And then I went home. Day 72 to 73 were spent putting all the goods I just got away, like the bones and all of that. And I also did some enchanting. That was pretty much it. Day 74 to 81, it was time to spend time in the Nether to get as much netherite as I humanly could. I got as many beds as I possibly could over the time I spent shearing. And I went and dug underneath to start destroying the underworld. And I collected every piece of netherite that I possibly found. Went back home sometimes, did some enchanting and made some more beds, and then went back to work. At this point, I realized I didn't need a fortune shovel, so I would fix that up later on. And then went back to the overworld, did some more enchanting. Made some more beds, and went straight back to work. And then finally went home, where I started cooking up my ancient debris. Well over enough for all my armor and tools. Day 82 was a very important day to me. I grabbed all my 11 netherite ingots and I started to craft up all of my tools to netherite. It was a very long journey to get here, but we finally reached it. I hope you guys enjoy the journey so far, and we're not even done. I got serious dedication, and there was time to upgrade my armor to netherite as well. Felt so accomplished, and felt so secure and safe now with all this netherite gear. And I was officially stacked. And it was time to grab some soul sand and wither skulls, and I think you guys know what time it is. It was time to fight the second boss of Minecraft, the Wither. I found this nice little ice lake, and I built up the Wither. It was time to fight. And with that, I became victorious. I had gotten my first nether star. So I headed back home, and I crafted up my first beacon. I also crafted up some iron blocks. That way, I could start making a beacon. And I started on a nice little area in front of my portal, so it wasn't just plain boring in the middle of nowhere like all my other builds. And that's what I did for the rest of the night. Days 83 to 85 were spent on the area in front of my portal. I did not just want an area in front of my portal to have like a nice entrance into it. I also wanted an area for a beacon and to put a throne for the dragon egg that I just gotten. I wanted it to look really nice, so I added quite a bit of decorations. And I started working on the areas for the beacon and egg. And it was coming together super nicely. I started placing down my beacon, and it was looking like a true ceremonial amazing place, you could say, I guess. And I crafted up and placed my first beacon. I also put haste 2, obviously. What are you going to do without haste 2? Nothing. It's a joke. You need haste 3, but I put haste 2 anyways. And then I started on the egg area. Grabbed my egg and then placed it in its area. And it was looking quite nice. I built some more to the beacon with all the new iron blocks I just got, and that was the days. Day 86 was a short and sweet day. All I did was chop down as much wood and clear out as much land as I possibly could to start building my house. I also cleared out that one village house, and I kept clearing trees and trees for the rest of the night. And I also got a nice base for where my house would be. Days 87 to 88. It was a nice splendid day. I got the base done and then I headed to the mines. In the mines, I started on a quarry and I got as much andesite and stone as I possibly could for the building. And I started also using the stone right away on the throne and beacon area to give it a nice little spice. And then I saw a kitty cat and I decided I needed a cat and I needed a pet. So I went and got some fish. But then after trying to feed a cat cooked fish, I realized you could not do that, and I went to get raw fish. I went up to the kitty cat, and I got him. I got a nice best friend forever. If you guys have any names for him or her, let me know. I gave him or her a nice orange collar, and I gave it to him or her. Like I said before, let me know if you guys have any names for him or her. And then I also found a nice little orange cat, which I think is a little bit cooler in my opinion. And I gave him or her a nice little light blue collar. If you guys have any names for the cats, let me know. And then I went to the Nether and continued collecting materials for my house. Days 89 to 91 were nice chill days. I went back to my villager trading hall and started upgrading a new spoon. This spoon would have silk touch as compared to the fortune I had prior. The fortune one, I couldn't get any gravel, so I added a nice netherite ingot to this new spoon, and I officially had a better netherite tool for my future workings. I ventured out to find a nice little horsey, and I found this nice little one here. Then I finally got him or her. They were super fast, so I decided to put my diamond armor on, and I grabbed as many bee stuff as possible. This way I could use them for farms in the future. I brought the horsey back, and then I had to get a lead because they were trying to run away. I don't know why, because they were my best friend, so I don't know why my best friend would leave. If you guys have any names for any of these animals, let me know again in the comments. Appreciate that. I went back to get my beacon, and I brought the beacon to the quarry. In the quarry, I put up the beacon and then realized I had to dig all the way up a very big mountain to get to the sky so it could actually work. After I got it working, I had to go and mine for a very long time for as much andesite and stone as I possibly could for this build. Grabbed the beacon and then left the mines. Day 92, after returning home and putting the beacon back on its pedestal, I realized it was not big enough to fit a full-sized beacon, so I had to destroy it and rebuild it throughout the night. I had a lot of phantoms annoy me, but I finally had it done after quite a while of building. And I think it was coming together pretty darn nicely. The final days 93 to 99, I spent building up my house. This would be my main house where I put all my storage stuff and put my bed and everything in general. But I was not able to get it all the way done in this 100 days, but I got as much done as I possibly could, and I was pretty happy with where it was coming. I wanted to get a general gist for you guys done. That way you guys can see my future aspirations for this building. I wanted to look really nice, and then I wanted it to be an establishment for all the other builds I would make in this village area. I'd have the village houses normally like they normally are, but maybe upgrade them a little bit, and then have these nice little areas like my house that would show like the farmhouse and the trading hall and all that jazz. I have so much planned for this world, and I cannot wait to put it out to you guys. You guys are going to be the deciding factor for me, though. I want you guys to tell me if you guys want to see another 100 days from like 100 to 200 days, or watch massive projects like me transforming the end into the overworld, or the overworld into the end, or the nether into the overworld, or something like that. I can do big projects, or I can keep doing these 100 days. As much as you guys want, I will do. Because I want you guys to have the best content as possible for you guys. It's up to you guys. Let me know in the comments. Because as a YouTube watcher myself, I always want to watch what I want to watch. And that's what I want to do for you guys. To have a nice little channel where you guys can come and watch as much fun, entertaining stuff as possible. So let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. And that's what I'm going to talk about for the rest of this building. I'm not yet going to get this building done, so don't be too depressed when it's not finished yet. And I placed my bed, and I officially moved into my new house. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. It was a very, very hard video. A very, very hard video to make. It took me a very long time. So I appreciate you guys watching this video and taking the time out of your day to watch it. I only made it to day 100. At the start of day 100, I made myself a jukebox and added it to my bedroom area. I grabbed some azalea leaves and I added it to my house to give it a nice little decoration and a nice little cozy feeling. At the end of the day, I did my crops for the last time, went to my iron farm for the last time. I went and destroyed all my sugarcane for the one last time in these 100 days. Said goodbye to my breeders. Went over, said goodbye to my mine and the miner over there, chilling in the boat. Said goodbye to all my villagers in my villager trading hall for one last time. And said goodbye to my nice little dragon egg stand. My last flying enemy. And I said goodbye to my all new best friends and pets. I killed my last cow, and I retired the leather. It was officially coming to an end. The sun was coming up, and the day was coming to an end. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a very long video to make, taking well over many nights and many days to record and edit. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would appreciate a like and sub. If you do not want to, that is okay. And this is how I survived 100 days in hardcore Minecraft.